I never thought I would live to see the day when my own daughter, the little girl I once cradled in my arms, would tell me I wasn't welcome at her wedding. It was a cold Wednesday evening when my phone rang. I smiled when I saw Emily's name flashing across the screen. She rarely called these days, busy as she was with her new life, her job, and her fiancé, Mark. But the moment I answered, something felt off. Her voice was shaky, rehearsed. "Dad," she said, "I need to talk to you about the wedding." I leaned back in my chair, my heart swelling with pride. I thought maybe she wanted me to walk her down the aisle, or help her pick out a dress. But then she spoke words I will never forget. "Dad, I don't think it's a good idea for you to come." For a moment I thought I misheard. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" I asked, my voice trembling. She sighed. "It's just, Mark's parents think it might cause tension. With the divorce and everything. I think it's best if you just sit this one out." My hand tightened around the phone. My chest burned. This wasn't just a wedding. This was her wedding. My daughter's biggest day. And she was telling me she didn't want me there. I forced a smile she couldn't see. "If that's what you want, Emily, then I understand." We hung up. And I sat there in the silence of my empty house, staring at the family photos on the wall. My heart had never felt so heavy. Part 2: Memories of a Father. That night I couldn't sleep. Memories of Emily's childhood flooded my mind. I remembered her first birthday, the way she smeared cake across her face while laughing. I remembered teaching her to ride a bike, her tiny hands gripping the handlebars as she yelled, "Don't let go, Dad!" I remembered her graduation, the way she looked into the crowd until her eyes found mine, and her smile lit up the whole auditorium. And now, she didn't want me at her wedding. I sat alone, replaying every sacrifice I had made as a father. The nights I stayed up late helping her with homework. The double shifts I worked just to afford her school trips. The times I put my own dreams aside so she could chase hers. And yet here I was, unwanted. Part 3: The Lonely Drive. The next morning, I drove around town aimlessly. I passed by the park where Emily and I used to feed the ducks. I drove by the little cafe where we shared hot chocolate on snowy days. Every street corner whispered her laughter, her childhood, our bond. I stopped at a red light and caught my reflection in the mirror. My hair was grayer now. My face was more lined. Somewhere along the way, I had grown old. But my love for Emily had never aged. I wondered, had I failed her? Was I really such a burden that she didn't want me by her side? Part 4: The Empty House. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table, scrolling through social media. I saw posts about wedding preparations, her friends tagging her in bridal showers, decorations, dresses. And there I was, a ghost in her story. My neighbor, Mrs. Carter, stopped by. She saw me staring at my phone and asked what was wrong. When I told her, she frowned. "Don't give up, Richard," she said softly. "Sometimes children don't realize what they're doing until it's too late. Just wait. She'll come back to you." I wanted to believe her. But the ache in my chest told me otherwise. Part 5: The Missed Calls. 2 days later it happened. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing. Over and over again. I rubbed my eyes and checked the screen. 18 missed calls. All from Emily. My hands shook as I held the phone. My heart pounded. Why was she calling me now? I hesitated. Part of me wanted to let her suffer, to feel the sting of being ignored, just as she had ignored me. But deep down, I knew I could never do that. When I finally answered, her voice was broken. "Dad, please. I need you." Part 6: The Truth. I drove to her apartment as fast as I could. When I got there, I found Emily sitting on the floor, her wedding dress thrown aside, her face buried in her hands. "Dad," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I should have never told you not to come." Through her tears, the truth spilled out. Mark's parents had been controlling everything, the guest list, the food, even the dress. They wanted a perfect wedding, and to them, My presence as a divorced, single father didn't fit their image. Emily had been so scared of disappointing them that she chose to disappoint me instead. And now, just days before the wedding, she realized the man she was marrying wasn't willing to stand up for her. He sided with his parents. He stayed silent while they belittled her. "I don't think I can marry him, Dad," she whispered. "I don't think I can do this." Part 7. A Father's Strength. I knelt down, taking her hands in mine. "Emily," I said softly, "you don't need to marry anyone who makes you feel small. You don't need to throw away your happiness just to please others. And you never, never, have to push me away to make space for people who don't truly love you." She cried in my arms like she hadn't done since she was a little girl. In that moment, I wasn't just her father. I was her safe place. Her anchor. The one person who would never let her fall. Part 8. The Decision. The next day, Emily made the hardest choice of her life. She called off the wedding. Mark was furious. His parents called her ungrateful. But Emily stood her ground. And through it all, I stood beside her. It wasn't easy. The days after were filled with tears, whispers, and judgment. But slowly, Emily began to see that she had made the right choice. Part 9. The New Beginning. Months later, we stood together in the garden of a small chapel. It wasn't a wedding, it was a renewal of life. Emily had started over. She had found joy in herself again. As we walked through the garden, she squeezed my hand and whispered, "Thank you, Dad, for never giving up on me, even when I gave up on you." And in that moment I knew, every missed call, every sleepless night, every heartbreak, was worth it. Because no matter what, I would always be her father. And she would always be my little girl.